You ever heard the name Jennifer Schuett?
Yes.
Did you ever have occasion to come in contact with her?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
No.
This person here is Dennis Earl Bradford, who will break down in just a minute from now after learning that the 8-year-old girl who he kidnapped, raped and slit her throat is still alive after 20 years.
Extremely proud of her. I really do.
Oh, thank you. She's alive.
Yes, she's alive.
She's alive.
She's alive.
Hello and welcome to Twisted Crimes. Jennifer Schuett was only 8 years old when she was abducted by a stranger from her home in Dickinson, Texas in August 1990 before being strangled and violently raped. The little girl's attacker, Dennis Earl Bradford, slit her throat and left her for dead in a field where she laid naked, bleeding and unable to move until children found her some 14 hours later.
To go from an 8-year-old little girl who thought she could sing like Mariah Carey to being silenced, it was really devastating and frustrating.
On August 10, 1990, Jennifer Schuett, who was 8 years old, was abducted from her bedroom by an unknown man. She was being carried down the street by a man who clasped his hands over her mouth and nose to muffle her screams before bundling her into a car. He held a knife to my throat and said, "Am I scaring you, little girl?" Then he choked me as hard as he could. I blacked out for a while, Miss Schuett told 48 Hours. I woke up to him dragging me by my ankles. He dropped my legs. I realized I couldn't scream and I couldn't figure out why.
When Jennifer, there was no sign of her, she was just gone.
The police started looking for Jennifer immediately.
It started to become evident very quickly to the officers that this was not just a runaway case.
As anything new develops, I'll be more than happy to talk with you all about it.
After dragging her through the field and raping her, the suspect used a pocket knife to slit her throat from ear to ear. Schuett pretended to be dead, and he finally left. When she woke up in a field, naked and covered with fire ants, Schuett was slowly bleeding to death, but she couldn't scream for help because her voice box had been cut. 14 hours later, some children found her and called for help. Schuett was rushed by helicopter to a Galveston hospital, barely alive. She was told she may never speak again, but even in her injured state helped police build a sketch of her attacker.
With Jennifer, we knew that we had a survivor that couldn't speak. The challenges were to extract information from her. Now we're talking about an 8-year-old.
It would prove eerily accurate when he was finally found nearly 2 decades later. Handwritten notes also told the tale of a little girl who managed to soak up an incredible amount of information despite her panic. She described what the man looked like, the brand of cigarettes he smoked and the brand of a 6-pack of beer found in his car. He said he was an undercover cop. Big gun. He said, "I don't have my gun or badge right now," young Jennifer wrote in one of her notes, while in another she detailed, "He choked me 4 times as hard as he could, yes, in the car." She wrote that she had been wearing a pink t-shirt and white underwear covered in blue roses on the night she was abducted. Investigators found Schuett's pink pajama top and underwear a few miles from where she was assaulted.
He was running with me, carrying me down the sidewalk, and I immediately tried to scream, but he covered my nose and mouth.
They also recovered a man's t-shirt and underwear. Back then, large amounts of blood or body fluids were needed to test DNA, and there just wasn't enough. Dickinson detective Tim Cromie was assigned to the cold case more than a year ago. He teamed up with FBI Special Agent Richard Renneson. The little girl told police her attacker's name was Dennis and helped police create a sketch of the suspect with her detailed description. She wrote the man was white, wore glasses, had a black mustache and had 1 or 2 green tattoos. Despite the details she provided detectives, 2 decades passed before improved DNA testing linked Bradford to the attack. About that time, the FBI's Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team chose the Schuett case as one of 5 nationwide cold cases to focus on. A $10,000 reward was offered for information leading to an arrest, and America's Most Wanted featured the case. The nuclear DNA testing in Quantico linked the evidence to Bradford. He was in their system because of the Arkansas kidnapping case. Investigators learned he had lived in Dickinson in 1990. They compared his driver's license photo from back then to the composite sketch by HPD's Lois Gibson, and were convinced he was their man. Bradford, who was a convicted kidnapper living in Arkansas, was found in September 2009, and his driver's license photo was practically identical to the attacker Schuett had described to police. When confronted by the police, he could not believe it, and he eventually confessed to the brutal crime.
You ever heard the name Jennifer Schuett?
Yes.
Did you ever have occasion to come in contact with her?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
No. My whole life for the past 20 years has been utterly and completely because of my mistake.
I can tell, obviously, the sexual out, but I think you would, if you were to see her, I think you would be extremely proud of her. I really do.
Oh, thank you. She's alive.
Yes, she's alive.
She's alive.
She's alive. Let me tell you, she is incredible young.
Oh, God. Oh, God, thank you. Well, you have no idea how hard I have prayed for that. I'm a firm believer of Christ. But I had no idea. Because it wasn't about 2 days later I ran, and I just took off.
A tearful Schuett thanked the investigators for their hard work and
Throughout
dedication.
this journey, I've had two main goals, and they were to find the man who kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and attempted to murder me 19 years ago so that he could not hurt anyone else, and to use my voice in telling my story to as many people as I possibly could in hopes that I may encourage other victims of violent crime to stand up and speak out against criminals. Today, I can say very proudly that I have accomplished both of these goals. I hope that my case will remain as a reminder to all victims of violent crime to never give up hope in seeking justice, no matter how long it may take or how hard it may be. With determination and by using your voice, speak out. You are capable of anything.
Bradford had been living in Little Rock for 7 years. He is married and has 2 children and 3 stepchildren, according to investigators. Bradford served time in Arkansas for the 1996 abduction of a 35-year-old woman he had met at a nightclub. He also raped her and slit her throat. He was released from prison after serving 4 years of a 12-year sentence. Bradford is charged with attempted capital murder in the Schuett case. If convicted, he could get from 5 to 99 years or life in prison. Bradford, then 40, killed himself in prison in May 2010 before he could stand trial on rape and attempted murder charges. Jennifer Schuett, who thought she would be able to see him in court and also read her victim impact statement, didn't give up even though he killed himself. She decided to go read it to him at his grave. It states,
Dennis Bradford, you chose the wrong little 45-pound, 8-year-old girl to try and murder, because for 19 years, I've thought of you every single day and helped in searching for you. In my heart, I knew you were out there. And now I know, listening to my heart all of these years and never giving up on finding you, I was right.
The struggles had continued for Schuett. When she was 25, she was diagnosed with hydrosalpinx, a condition where the fallopian tubes are blocked and filled with fluid. She was told it was due to complications caused by the rape and that she may never be able to conceive her own children. Schuett was told that even after corrective surgeries, chances of becoming pregnant naturally were slim to none. Schuett and her boyfriend, Jonathan Martinez, decided to try IVF as their only hope of becoming parents, and the frozen embryo miraculously took. The couple now have 2 children, 4-year-old Jenna and 11-month-old Jonah.